See, that's me. That's a Boston accented onomatopoeia is what I was going for. Did you get that? Did you get that? Haba, diam. Yeah, see? I'm getting there.
Where'd you park the dum?
Where'd you
park it?
Park the dum. Park the dum. Got it. Dude, we could have...
Park it.
I don't know if Martin Scorsese listens to our podcast, but if you do, and you're thinking about redoing The Departed, I think Jacob and I are willing to...
We got a dumb take on it. You know?
The dumb take on it. But that's not what we're doing here. We can pitch... We'll save that for the Martin Scorsese resume pitch.
Martin, Martin, write us in at grandlinetourist@gmail.com and let us know about your interest in
casting us in the remake. But besides that, you already said the title of this podcast. We are the Grand Line Tourists. Oh my god, I was gonna say poorest. The Grand Line Tourists.
Oh.
We are.
Well, we don't make a lot of money off of this, so that was a a verbal acknowledgement of our desire to be rich. But that's okay. We don't need to be rich here.
We don't need to be rich here.
We're not going after the One Piece.
The Grand Line Tourist podcast, a chapter by chapter examining or re-examining, depending on where you are in your life and your life's relationship to Ichiro Oda's masterpiece, One Piece. The manga. Look at that. I got that. Oh, it sounded very good. That should be on the t-shirt.
No, it did sound good.
Right? It sounded pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I feel like I throw in all those words and I make a word scramble sandwich out of them and make metaphors about like feeding people. So you do better. You do better than me.
I'm pretty sure I was either a Shakespearean poet in my past life or like a B-list rapper. So I mean one of those two, probably, right? One of those two.
Dang. Same thing, actually, right?
Probably. I was probably both at the same time. Today on the itinerary, we're going to be talking about Chapter 46, An Uninvited Guest.
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah. You're an invited guest, though, Jacob.
Oh, yeah,
right?
and you know what? I'm both the uninvited guest and I'm also the titular tourist. I don't know. I don't know if we slipped, but maybe we didn't even say our names. You may have said yours. I don't think I said mine. If we haven't, the person sitting across from me on the internet is Eric, and I am Jacob, the tourist under the purview of my dear tour guide. And he is right. We're doing an uninvited guest, which is not me. And it's not you either, because you're always invited to the podcast.
I mean, we both have to, or else we can't do a podcast. You know what I mean? And
indeed.
The more we talk about this itinerary, the cooler it gets, because it's hot. It's hot cakes. It's hot, fresh off the oven. Itinerary here. I'm going to read to everybody. Chef Zeph is serious. He wants Sanji to go. Sanji flirts too much. He fights customers all the time, and you know what? He's a lousy cook. But Sanji says, "Hey, okay, the first two things might be true, but you cannot insult. You cannot insult my cooking." So he goes and he pokes Zeph, and Zeph's like, "You can't touch me." So Zeph obviously reacts in the most probably logical way. He shoves. No, he doesn't shove. He throws Sanji into a table.
Table
again, crush. When you eat at the
not a table, the table.
Yeah, right.
The table of Nami, Luffy, and the whole crew basically.
The crew,
right?
essentially. Again, when you eat at the Bratier, you just don't get food. You don't get perfect 5-star food. You get a show. All the time. You know people are going to be fighting, essentially, at this restaurant. Those on the table, Sanji says, "Hey, you know what, man? I'm going to be cooking here until you die. Not until Sanji dies. I'm going to be cooking here until you die." Some chef goes, "I'm not going to die, bro. I'm going to live another 100 years." And then they walk away, right? And then, this is leading into the whole thing that we talked about last chapter, which is, what is his reason for staying? Is it really just so Sanji could be head chef? Who knows? This might be a little bit of that leading into that. We go back, and Sanji is a little bit of a ladies' man. He likes to flirt, and Nami convinces him pretty easily to comp her food. And then he has the complete opposite, which Sanji agrees to. And then Sanji has the complete opposite feeling to Usopp, which is unrespited hostility.
What's he got against long noses? That's just cruel.
Apparently everything, because he goes into Usopp's face. He agrees to comp Nami's meal, but he makes the other guys pay. He calls them bums or something too. This is just what Sanji does. And then we go. I lost my place here. And afterwards,
2 days later.
2 days later, yeah, we jump 2 days later. With Don Krieg's ship showing up. He shows up. right? And his pirate flagship, Jacob, what was on that? What's on the pirate flag for Don Krieg?
Oh, it's got a. Well, I remember the two. What is it? What are those words for the things with the sand that tip over?
You got
timers?
It?
No, not timers.
Yeah, they are timers.
Hourglasses. Hourglasses, though. Hourglasses.
Yes.
2 hourglasses and like making up the skull and crossbones. Right?
Yeah, and it's and I love that the way they pay that off is that it shows the enemies that they're out of time.
Dun, dun, dun.
But and I love that they had to explain it. But to me, I feel like if I saw it for the first time, I'd be like, are they slow motion pirates? If I saw it for the first time, it's your slow. Wait, excuse me, sir. What's the deal with your flag?
Yeah, before you take all my valuables, I need to know.
Okay, but Don Krieg's ship comes. By the way, it's gigantic based off the scale of it, right? It's gigantic.
Oh yeah.
Patty is freaking out because the cooks warned Patty before, right? If you beat up on the Krieg pirates, they're gonna show up, and there's a ton of them, and the ship is huge. But Jacob, what's up with this ship? When the ship shows up,
it has seen better days. It has gotten torn and tattered, and it does not look great. Right. It actually almost looks like a ghost ship. You're like, how is this thing even moving around?
Exactly. Everybody's freaking out. Sanji makes a fun little comment of like, that wasn't done by another ship, that was done by a typhoon. Like, it looks like it's been beaten up and everything. Because we know that the Krieg pirates have come from the Grand Line and now they're back here. And this is the result of the Grand Line, right? The door whips open and is none other than Jin holding on to a half dying, starving Don Krieg. And Jin is begging for food. Krieg is begging for food. Krieg even says, I have money to pay. But Patty goes up there. Patty's like, we're not feeding you. In fact, call the Navy. We could capture the man right now. The Navy would be very appreciative of capturing the man. We're not going to feed him. We're going to let him starve and beat him up, right? So now Patty is kind of doubling back on even his other thing, which is like his thing before was you need to pay, but now this man's dying and he's not even going to let him pay, right? Like he says we're going to capture him. And everybody in the restaurant, outside of, the main characters, seem to be in agreement with Patty, let's not feed him. Here we get a lot of exposition about the type of pirate that Krieg is. He's known to be, kind of a, he lies, and he's a dirty fighter, right? He doesn't play by the rules. He does stuff like...
Yeah, his duplicity is legendary.
Ooh, that is the term that they say. And they also call him the foul play tyrant of the Eastern Sea, right? Because he's kind of the big dog of East Blue, right? Because of all the 4 quadrants, he's the biggest one that's leading outside of East Blue. But he doesn't even play by the rules. He fakes white flags and then shoots people in the back, sort of deal. None of that matters to Sanji. Sanji says, "Move out of the way, Patty," and he roundhouse kicks Patty out of the way, and he feeds Krieg. He feeds Krieg, and everybody's freaking out. They're like, you don't know what you're doing. He's going to backstab you. And Sanji doesn't seem to care. And even before Sanji really can say his opinion on it, Krieg finishes the meal and then clotheslines Sanji in the face.
Immediate payoff of that foul play, Krieg.
Yes. Immediate. And it happens so quickly. And then Jin has that line when Jin goes, and you promised me that you wouldn't do this. You promised me if I brought you here, you'd just eat. And you'd be appreciative. This man saved your life while you were attacking him. Krieg just says, his one line of dialogue, the next line of dialogue is, I like this restaurant. I'm going to take it. And that's the end of the chapter.
It's pretty crazy. It's, I liked how quickly that payoff happened, to be honest. We don't have to worry about, like, he may be duplicitous, but he is reliably duplicitous.
Yeah. Exactly.
Comes in, I need food. And actually, it kind of begs the question. Was he actually groveling? Did he really need food? Like, had he been that and beat up on the, Grand Line? Or is that a little bit of theatricality, just, and then, just get in and then take over?
That's a fair question, to be honest with you, man. Because at this point, who knows? This guy, not even... First off, he must have the metabolism of a 16-year-old, because he digested that food and was like, I'm ready to beat people up. Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's talk about Krieg. We're already on Krieg, right? Everything about him, he's bigger, right? Like, there's so much quantity to the man. Like we were talking about last chapter. He's a big man. He has a giant ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his facial structure and size remind me a bit of, a lot of people have, it's not Iron Fist, it's going to be, the other one, Iron Jaw.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Morgan, Axe Hand Morgan.
Axe Hand, oh my goodness, this
Captain
is bad.
Lord.
I'm already having trouble
Captain
right
Lord.
now. There's not that many options.
It's okay.
Axe Hand Morgan.
Man, if you think this is hard now, We're only 45 chapters in, my man.
It's true. Yeah. So it reminds me a little bit build-wise and facial and like kind of intimidating-wise of Axe Hand Morgan a little bit. But in a totally different sort of garb, right? We got like a much more, I don't know, kind of like a suave, elegant captain look.
Well, he's kind of, it's fun that they call him Don, so I'm wondering if they're referencing like a mafia Don?
Yeah, kind of. Right? It kind of feels that way, you know, with all the fur elements of, you know, his garb that he's got going on there, his clothing.
Yeah. Everything is very showy, like he's very dressed, very showy. Even though he's dying and stuff, he still has his chains. He has kind of like a leopard print shirt, vest type thing, right? Yeah. So it is very showy, and I love that he's gigantic. Because as far as we know, Jin is a normal sized man, so that makes Don Krieg huge. Right? So that's cool. I mean, like everything about him, even his ship. I love this shot of the ship in comparison to the Baratier. Like it's gigantic. It's a huge ship, and I like how you said it looks like a ghost ship because it does. It does look like a ghost ship, at least in this angle.
Yeah, because you got like none of the sails are intact. I don't think a few of the. Oh yeah, no, because the sails that you can see that are intact in that picture are the ones from the Baratier that just happen to be in front.
Yes.
All the other ones are torn apart by possibly some sort of typhoon is what Sanji kind of fathoms about.
And I think I just barely noticed this, but I think that's the Merry-Go on the other side, like towards behind the M.
Behind the M? Oh my goodness, the Merry-Go is tiny.
Yeah, right? I think
Holy wait. Could it be anything else?
It might be, but I'm just going off the stripy thing in the back.
Yeah. Let's tentatively say that that's the Merry-Go. I think so.
Yeah, wow. I'm looking for Mary's head, but I don't see Mary's head, so...
If we're looking at the rear. Oh, wait, no, you can see Mary's head. You can see it. Look at where it would be jutting out. It's going to be right underneath the sails, basically. You go to the top of the M, and then you'll see it.
You think that's it? Oh, I guess that might be
yeah,
it.
The thing that's popping out from the M of the Doom.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
it's kind of got like two little curls there for the horns. No, very interesting. So, yeah, that's actually even cooler. We've had, we were kind of talking about, we've had the power level, the Grand Line revealed in our last episode a little bit. Now we have the power level of these ships via their scales, how large they are relative to one another. And yeah, I didn't even imagine, I wasn't, in my mind, having Merry-Go the right size, even compared to the Baratier. It's kind of tiny. Baratier is a good size, can hold a lot of patrons, and then whatever this is...
Well, for his 50 huge. Pirate crew armada, right? Like, as far as we know, this man travels around with a gigantic army of pirates, right? So it's crazy. And I'm excited to have you see how he pays off later on and all that stuff, and how this character design, how it pays off with the way he fights. Like, I wonder how this guy fights, right? So at least I don't know if you're thinking that, but if you're not, you should be.
No. It's one of those things that it hits me a little more later, but I like you put it into my head now. I've seen him quickly clothesline one man, and actually clothesline somebody that we've seen is pretty brutal. In the past, so it'll be interesting to see because Sanji has a little comment after getting clotheslined of like, so that's how it is. So it's like Sanji's not down. You know what I mean? Like, sure, he got clotheslined, but this isn't a character that gets clotheslined and then just they're out for the rest of the couple chapters. This is
okay, we're gonna fight.
To be honest, I hadn't thought of it until this moment of like, what's the plan here? Captain Krieg is in a boat full of like other pirates. I mean, I assume everyone's really afraid
of kung fu chefs. Yeah,
of kung fu chefs. It doesn't seem like the best move to bring one other pirate and yourself into the kung fu chef parlor that's known for beating up nasty patrons, but. At the same time, we did hear that they were desperate, maybe, that he did need food, and that, like, everyone's actually thinking that, like, if this is Krieg as they know him, that once we feed him, we're in trouble. So maybe there's something to be said of what's going to happen next.
I think we just, before we get to my main topic, I do want to chat a bit about, let's dive in a little deeper between Sanji and Zeph, right? Like, they're so weird, because they're... Well, what did I say? The love to hate each other, right? They give each other a lot of crap. But then, like, Sanji is chef number 2 on this restaurant. Like, he is the assistant chef. And does he really? Like, I don't know. It's so interesting how they're going after each other. But, like, Zeph also doesn't mind throwing Sanji into a table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, like, we got the, I'll cook here forever, and do you hear that? Like, Chef Sanji wants to be head chef,
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting, I was theorizing that maybe there was some deep past connection between the two that makes Sanji really respect Chef Zeph deep down, whether or not he does it, externally.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that just popped into mind, I'm not going to go ahead and I can't change former Tin Hat guesses, but maybe the Bratier is of particular importance to Sanji. I don't know.
Okay.
That's
okay. Can I
sometimes places you can if you want. I feel like I'd be cheating. Now I have like 2 options to get it right, but I'll take it.
You also have
if
2 options to get it wrong potentially.
That's true. Oh, this is brutal. Yeah, and actually, I think I guaranteed my success rate is not going to be less, right? Because with 2 guesses that are kind of one or the other, it's one of them's going to be wrong.
That's true.
But hey, I'll take it.
Is attached to.
I'm going to brag a lot more when one of them's right, and we're just going to kind of ignore the one I get wrong.
No, I won't. Yeah, and I'm also. Do you buy that he is motivated by Do you buy Sanji's motivation to be head chef?
The thing that Sanji, despite having a lot of presence in these past couple chapters, is kind of a closed book as far as what his desires and wants are, right? The big thing we know, he'll feed anybody, right?
Yeah.
We don't know is he hadn't said why, you know what I mean?
He hasn't done his wants
where that motivation's coming from.
Yeah.
So right now, I would think he wants to be head chef, so he can actually change what it means to be the Baratier restaurant. I would put forth. Well, this is I'm just diving into my theory that if you really extend that to the extreme, I think he wants to run the food. Oh, what's the word for it? There's a nice word for places that give out food to the poor. You know what I mean? To anybody that shows up until they run out of food.
A shelter?
Not a food bank. Basically a shelter. There's a there's a different word that I'm failing to materialize in front of me. I can taste it, sadly, but I can't bring it out. But maybe he wants to do something like that. He wants to be, he wants to be head chef so that he can, do what he did for the last pirates, even without judgment, right? He did it without judgment once. To be honest, both of them screwed him over, right?
Yeah.
He did it to one pirate, and that pirate was the one who brought the big pirate who just clotheslined him, right? So we can't actually say.
Do you believe Jin? Do you think Jin really did think that?
I can't tell.
Right?
Based on the interactions he's had.
How do you feel?
Jin.
Yeah, do you think Jin's a good guy? If you had to judge him based on, because this is literally our characters have the same amount of information that we do about Jin right now.
Yeah. No. Now we really dig into it, right? I got 2 options. Jin is just a follow-through pirate, which makes him kind of a good guy, right? He's just a good follow-through pirate. When his captain fell on the ground and started groveling, he's like, "No, you can't do that, Captain. Don't grovel," because he knows that he doesn't want to see his captain brought down that low, right? Because he's loyal. On the other hand, he is. We don't even know what his ranking is among the other crew, really. But if he's high up, let's say even maybe second in command or up there, then maybe he's learned something about this duplicity from his captain. In which case, what he's doing is maybe he just he came in, he cased the joint, and then he left, and then they established the duplicitous plan together.
Right, is he a representation of what we think this captain's crew culture is? Right, because Krieg's obviously he has an opinion about how to win, which is do whatever the hell it takes to win. Is how he wins, right? I will pretend to do one thing and I'll stab you in the back. I will raise a white flag and then I'll shoot you. I do not care.
I'm gonna fly that flag of the Navy and I'm gonna surprise the town.
Yeah. It doesn't matter to Krieg. Krieg would be the guy who will have no problem robbing from your mother. You know what I mean? He's the guy you don't want to invite to your house because you never know what's gonna happen because he's probably gonna steal something from you and then blame it on your sister. You know what I mean? That is Krieg. This is what Krieg is. Yeah. And it might sound like I'm speaking from experience, but I am. Oh no. Yeah, I think that's everything I have about that because I think we kind of talked about all of it. Before I go, I do want to say a thought that I think Sanji is showing his hand a little bit. I think he might just be afraid to leave.
Yeah, that's another theory. So, maybe the theory that you may know already pays off or not is that Sanji's comfortable. That maybe this is a little more of an insecurity with hey, I've worked here a long time. I've been here. It's my position, I'm not going to go run off with Luffy to the Grand Line and get myself destroyed.
Right. So, I don't know. Are you going to flip-flop to the afraid theory?
I'm not flip-flopping. I don't think he looks pretty secure. He's going after the ladies. He's always got a blunt in his mouth. He's
it's a cigarette, sir.
I am bad on my my drug lingo. What is a blunt? What did I say? I don't even know what I referred to.
That has marijuana in it, sir.
So wait, but this one kind of looks hand-rolled, doesn't it? Like,
you can have hand-rolled cigarettes, my man.
Impossible. You're opening my eyes, Eric. You're defiling what I know about the world.
Here's a fun little trivia fact. When they brought the anime over to America through 4Kids, which is like the American publisher here, they changed the cigarette out with a lollipop.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was a lollipop for a majority.
I almost think a lollipop fits his character better. I feel like it's almost a more Oda move than what he did. You know
what? That's kind of true. I think I would have bought the lollipop a little bit more too, but cigarettes.
No,
cigarettes
they're both
mean
good.
different things.
Yeah, you know what? One thing before we move on, the last lines that we get from Krieg in this chapter are, I like this restaurant. I'll take it. I think right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we get. Yeah, no, nice restaurant, I'll take it. And so I've done some harsh translation, translation corner where I'll take, find the alternate translation, kind of show that what they have isn't quite as good as what, some other translators have come up with. But I wanted to show that this is an example where I think the Viz Media got it right with their translator that they actually had. So an alternative translation for the last panel would be, "This is a good restaurant. I'll take the ship," is what Krieg.
This is better. I
do like nice restaurant. I'll take it. The only reason the other one could be better would be if if it pays off I think what it is it's probably a more accurate translation. This is a good restaurant. I'll take the ship. Maybe it's more accurate to the original. Like, he said he's referring to taking the ship, not taking the restaurant. Right? That would be potentially important if that's actually what he means, that he actually doesn't care about the restaurant, but he wants the ship for his armada just as a piece of
a trophy, or
well no just like another vessel, right? Maybe he just wants the vessel, he doesn't care about the restaurant, but it feels like because it has "this is a good restaurant, I'll take the ship," it feels like he cares a little bit about the restaurant or something. So we'll see how that pans out and whether we stand by that translation as the better of the two. But right now, I like "nice restaurant, I'll take it," at least for the wordplay of it, or it feels good.
Also, just to go back for the fight, like the judgment on Jin, he attacks Jin. Krieg straight up. Krieg grabs his arm and squeezes.
Oh yeah, at the very end, right? Yeah. Well, no, this is the acting to the extreme, right?
Oh. You think that Jin is pulling off some Captain Kuro stuff? That's what you're thinking.
I think I always like to assume that people are One Piece kind of lends to it. There's people that do some pretty elaborate plans. So
Kuro's the best example, and Kuro did get you.
because then otherwise Jin really, he is just loyal follower, right? He becomes a pretty foolish person, right? He's like, "What? You I was working for the most duplicated pirate, and guess what? You said you wouldn't, Krieg." Well, what is it? You know who you're working for, right? How many ships have you flown the Navy flag for? And but maybe he said it in confidence behind closed doors. If your boss is a
dog, you gotta be ready to pick up some poop. Come on, dude.
Bark, bark, bark.
Okay, so this is my deep thought for this chapter. And
deep thought.
My question to you, Jacob Jarecki, first of his name. Is eating a given right?
Oh my goodness!
Because a big thing that happened, I think to me it stuck out. Being an adult who reads way too deep into things, is that the thing we know about Patty is that Patty says, "If you can't pay, then you're not a customer. Get out." Right?
There we go.
The thing that we established very quickly when Krieg shows up is, "I have money. Feed me anything. I can pay you." Right? Even Jin's "We can pay you this time." Patty still says no. Right? So now it comes down to this a philosophical idea to me of does everybody deserve the right to eat, right? Is that a given right to eat, or is it a privilege, or is it something to withhold from people?
No. It's kind of funny. I think I'm taking this one way. There's the signs that always used to fascinate me as a kid. because I never really saw them play out, but all the restaurants, like, some, not actually, it's usually more one-off restaurants that are like more not chains will have the sign that says, "We reserve the right to refuse service to any customer." Those always stuck out to me as a kid for some reason. Whenever I would see those signs,
that's fair.
So
I did too. Yeah.
No, I'd look at them and I would get confused because I'd really never seen a restaurant throw anybody out, which made me kind of, I think, at least live in a world where it seemed like if you had money and you could come in and you could pay, you could eat. That just was how it worked, right? I mean, as long as you're not like coming in actively committing a crime, there you go, right? So the way Creed came in, he wasn't actively committing a crime. He may have committed, he's not the guy you want to have show up, but you're not going to refuse his burrito order, right? He gets up to the counter, he puts down his money, you're going to say, okay, that's enough for the burrito. Go make it, right? And I don't know if I was to then say, okay, well, what do I think about this on a more personal level? I kind of like that. I think my brain likes like equality level fairness. I know it's not. I think it's a little bit of a naive way to look at the world, but my brain always likes it. I can tell my brain's like, yeah, no, this is a place where everyone, maybe that's the cool thing about eating. It brings everybody together in the same way. As a human,
cool.
you gotta eat and you gotta crap, and that might be about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After that, like, there's not a lot of requirements for like staying alive, right? You gotta breathe. So yeah, I feel like to eat is, if not a right, it's like denying it is a huge deal. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. What do you feel about all that?
Because I asked that question because now let's look at it from Sanji's eyes. Because obviously Sanji has an opinion about it. He probably agrees with you, right? This man is dying, right?
Yeah.
Do I need to judge a man before I feed him? If he's dying in front of me, am I like, is it fair for me to judge him, or should we just look at the fact that he's dying and then judge him afterwards, right? Let's judge him by the actions that are going to happen after we feed the man. Let's not starve him to death and not, like, already decide that we're his execution.
Got some Minority Report stuff going on.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's a fun little thought experiment that happened right now in this chapter. In hindsight, I guess would you have done the same thing that Sanji would have done, I guess, is my question too. Like, would you have fed?
Well, you know what? I think I'm one of those people that, as a employee, I fall in line pretty fast. So, like, it would be if Patty was pulling rank on me and said we're not dealing with this customer, I probably would have fell in my loyal line with. I would have been like, well, Patty's been here a bit longer than me. Patty's seen more customers. We're not feeding this man. I think at the same time, my personal, like, if I ran this restaurant, I think I would want everyone to be able to eat. Sanji is a little bit extreme. He almost is like the, I don't know. He's got like a different mythical aspect to him because he'll feed somebody that doesn't have the money. To be honest, okay, you know what? I'm getting a little bit of some sparks firing in my brain now for like what we're getting from like this last chapter to this one. Maybe the whole points of all these chapters are to show Sanji's character, right? And so we learned last chapter.
There you go. Yeah.
We're gonna have him feed someone who can't pay, right? This chapter, we're having him feed someone who is like actively evil, and everybody agrees, right? There's no doubt. Everyone in the entire restaurant says, "Don't feed him. He's gonna hurt us," right?
Yeah.
And Sanji does not draw the line. He does not judge when he feeds people.
No, because
that's a chef.
That's a chef.
Gosh, dang it.
Right? You feed the people who are hungry. That's a chef.
Yeah.
That's freaking cool, man.
That is cool.
That's a cool dissection of what that... Well, it's so much weight to a position that I've never really thought about.
Oh, no. I think it all stems from we have to eat.
Yeah.
And so the culture around eating and what it means to create food for other people and like have a place that does that is just so cool. Like, you can look at a lot of different professions this way, but I think for food it comes very easily just because of how important it is to our survival that, it gets that extra layer in there. And so, it's a very interesting way to look at what it means to be a chef.
That's all I got.
Are you having a career change, Eric? Are you going to become a...
No. I barely feed myself, so no.
I am definitely, as of late, falling into the world of feeding myself too well. I obsess over my next meal sometimes. I think about it too much.
Wow.
When you said, when I talked to you earlier and I asked you, like, what water you have, I almost wanted you to ask me what water I had because I was trying out some crazy TikTok trend where you stick vinegar into your soda water, and I'm messing around with flavors, and I'm having fun, Eric. I have too much fun eating.
I'm okay if people want to make it for me.
Well, I want to make you some stuff sometime. We'll have to do that.
Oh yeah, we'll have like a.
That's right. I can be the Sanji in your life.
Have I told you this? Sanji has a cookbook that we can physically buy.
Did not.
Yeah.
This is gonna be. We're gonna be cooking recipes out of that cookbook while playing the One Piece, collectible card game.
Oh my god, we could be the shills. We could be the One Piece shills.
We need to have there needs to be a specific Luffy's birthday or something, if it is known as a date where we kind of get together and do all this stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, his birthday. He has a birthday for sure.
Yeah, or there might be a different day where people, like, maybe there's an event that happens in One Piece that's dated, and then people,
Yeah, the day One Piece
celebrate
is done.
on said day. Oh, that would be a big day. Or the day it was launched. I don't know. Like, it's weird. Yeah, maybe people are like, you know what? This is gonna go on too long. We need a day to celebrate now. Let's just pick the launch date.
Yeah,
of the first publication.
I don't have anything else. You get ready to go to some ha-has because there's some ha-has in the top.
Oh yeah. Let's do a couple ha-has.
All right, what you got?
Well, if we're gonna go from the very top, we have a decisive duel in the forest.
Yes.
Part 8 of Buggy's Little Adventure. He's dealing with, as we predicted, and now, I mean, it was basically predicted and confirmed, but now it's extra confirmed, dealing with Gaiman from the Island of Strange Animals, right? And we get to see those animals present once again, and it's just and Buggy's really taking a beating, and it's just a lovely little portrait on the cover of Chapter 46.
And you see Buggy's hand pulling on his afro, and also how unemotional the animals are in the back. Right? It's only these two small chibi people fighting each other. Nothing else is happening. And you found your great little lion pig that you like so much. Is in the shot too.
I think right in the front, right?
Yeah.
Leading all the others.
Oh, great.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Well, okay. Give me a half from the actual chapter. I had to cut it out.
I wrote down that I really like Nami's power over Sanji. It's just so good. It's just so easy for her. And he's
and I liked Usopp's indignation at Sanji's power over Nami with, like, that's discrimination. I'll sue.
Yes. Later on, there's the shot of his. Sanji calls him Big Nose, and his nose and Usopp's nose is literally bending on Sanji's face.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Do you have anything else?
Luffy's kind of naivete that when Jin's coming back, he's like, well, maybe Jin came back to say thanks for the food that we gave. Maybe Jin came back to say thanks.
He's not.
We didn't give a starving man some food. He's back to say thanks.
Exactly. That's all I kind of have.
Yeah, no. To be honest, I think this chapter was not the. Sometimes there's more ha-has than others, and either way, we've discovered a lot today. So
before we go though, I think you kind of mentioned it during the itinerary, but there is a really fun visual gag. He runs into the table, and then we get the payoff that it is the table that Nami and Usopp are all sitting at. But they've all picked up their dishes, like they anticipated Sanji being thrown into this table.
I didn't even think of that. That's even better. I was actually just thinking that, like, they happened to be middle of eating and they just were, like, stunned and astonished. Right? But there's no way that would happen. You'd have to know it was coming to have, because their hands are full. They're carrying like both their plates. And another interesting thing that I don't actually understand how it happened. Later on, they're at another table again. Like, either they moved or someone set up a table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they probably set up another table, or they moved.
No. It's just another little nuance of being on the brautier. Yeah, tables break, you get a new one, you move your food, you pick it up. It's just a very interesting environment.
Yeah. All right. I guess there's only one thing left to do, and that's throw panels at each other's faces until one of us agrees that the other's right.
And since I generally launch the title of this, Eric, what are we doing? What is this section called?
This section is called Panel Battle. This is where Jacob and I both go through the chapter and we both find a panel. I don't know what accent that is. but I think I'm offending people, so I gotta back off the accent.
I was gonna say I regret giving you the panel battle intro today.
No, it's too late. But yes, it's the panel battle that we throw panels at each other's faces. We choose a panel through the whole chapter. We say, hey, this one's good because of this reason, and then Jacob goes, hey, this one's better because of this reason, and then we put it up to a vote where we have our listeners vote, and they don't vote yet, but they will vote one day, and all of this whole segment will pay off. But before that, we have another thing we're trying to pay off, which is motivate you all as listeners to write in with your own panels, with your own decisions, with your own kind of offensive accents that you use to introduce your panel. I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah. If you want to send us in an audio of you saying anything, we will definitely edit it into the podcast. Yeah. I've been telling you all to write in, but even better, call in.
Oh my
recording
goodness.
Yourself.
Call in. And you can go ahead and do that at grandlinetourist@gmail.com. Our email again is titleofpodcast@gmail.com, which is grandlinetourist@gmail.com. Awesome.
I kind of want to email title of the podcast at gmail.com and see if I can get I want to see who owns that and what they're going to tell me.
We're going to own that. All right.
I'm very curious now whether it's taken, but not as curious as I am to know what you think of this panel. That's right. Sneak attack.
Swack. This is Sanji kicking Patty out of the way as she's trying to feed Krieg dying of starvation. We have just probably gasp as he's smacking as we see Sanji's beautiful foot coming right underneath his Patty's armpit, you think? Who knows?
Honest, I was going to ask you I don't know what's going on with the arm that's the thing that's to the left. Cuz it's definitely Sanji's leg, that's coming
Sanji's
from his leg
on top
to that
of the
shoe.
shoulder. It's on top of the shoulder.
So I feel like what it is that's actually Patty's foot bending at a crazy angle from the bottom, right?
No, he has Patty has weird little curl ropey things on his sleeve, like he's rolled up his sleeve.
Oh, that's what it is. That's making me think it was toes, but it's not toes.
So his foot is actually sitting right on top of his shoulder, between the shoulder and the neck.
Wait, what's the thing to the left then? That makes me think it's coming from toes. Is that just the swipe of the foot? That's just the swipe. It's just a swipe symbol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just a swipe, and then it's the curly rolled up sleeve. That's coming out. Yeah.
That makes so much more sense.
But this is a really cool shot because it is Patty's the majority of the frame, like a front, towards the foreground of the frame, while Sanji's foot is stretched beyond belief with all the momentum in the world to make it look like the impact is gigantic. Moving Patty to the side.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you dug it.
I did dig it. I did dug and dig it. This is mine, though.
Did you? Oh, we got Sanji and Usopp, nose to nose, or nose to cigarette, as I like to put it.
To blut.
And we have Sanji saying, I gave you tea, didn't I? You should be grateful, you mangy octopus. You want to fight? I'm not going to take that from you. Get him, Zolo. Get him yourself. And then we have Delicious from Nami. Oh, yeah. Oh, because that's what Eric did right there was a fantastic noise for Luffy about to, go full jaw
just,
onto
feed me. Because remember, his whole bit right now is no one's feeding me. Feed me, too.
Yeah. And so to get the delicious food that Nami has already, pawned off of Sanji over there. And they're all just... interesting. That's all kind of those order. This is a cool panel where the order of the dialogue I said also reveals the order of the characters right to left in the frame. That was Sanji, and then we have Usopp, and then we got Zolo just completely ignoring this squabble that's going on, and then then Luffy and Nami. Anything else you want to call out about?
I think it's just a fun characters. Each one. Oda has such good characterization, right? Visually, the design and everything. And I feel like in this shot, all of the designs are being paid off. Each one is doing what their personality would be doing in a frame. If it's just a frame of a painting or a frame of a movie, they're doing that thing in this one panel, in this frame. And it's it's Sanji confronting Usopp, who is unhappy about something that Sanji should have done for him, but he's gonna confront him, but not do the fighting. He's gonna beg one of his stronger crewmates to do the fighting for him. Zolo trying to stay out of it. He's like, you should be fighting yourself, because that's Zolo's philosophy, right? Luffy's always hungry, trying to get some food, and his mouth is real big, trying to represent his gigantic hunger that Luffy always has. And Nami, at the end of the day, getting whatever she wants.
There we go. No, I like it.
All of that in one frame.
And I think I mentioned that right to leftness is also showing the progression of time, which if you as a reader of manga or comics haven't seen before, I just encourage you to look out for those because they're kind of fun. It's like a very specific style of panel where you get to like what has happened in the scene is also exactly happening as your eyes move across the panel.
Yeah, it's like a Wes Anderson scroll. You know what I mean? Because you know how Wes Anderson does like the pan, like that drive pan of just moving. That's what it feels like. It feels like a pan shot, but like in a panel.
Yeah, no, it's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Well picked. Hopefully we'll have some other stuff to throw into the fray in future. But for now, it's time for us to skedaddle, I think. And we're going to skedaddle with some noises as we usually do. Did you have any noise for our ending for today, Eric?
You know, I think the only noise that makes sense is the sound of a foot hitting a face.
Whose foot hitting whose face? Tour guide hitting tourist, tourist hitting tour guide.
I think it's illegal for me to do it, so let's do it. Yeah.
All right, I'm taking off my. No, I don't need to take off my shoe to do that. I can keep it on.
I'm ready.
All right.
Here we go.
I'm getting my foot queued up.
Oh.